you really shouldn't try to like speak for anybody or like try to do anything without giving consideration to other identities. You know, I know you're trying to have fun, I know you're trying to have a good time, but you gotta remember like it's not all cotton candy and rainbows anymore. Like you like
what is it that makes us go, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but someone thinks I am. I have a responsibility to myself and my consciousness to go for it, to do it.
if like
And that's the phrase of the day is bet on yourself. Okay, so yeah, you're talking about COVID earlier. This is one of the silver linings of COVID. We were shut down. The hub was shut down. Oh, not the hub was open. The University of Washington was basically classes, nothing. I think there were 32 people on campus, and 30 of us were running the hub. 7 were running the hub. The rest were freshmen coming in and out of here. I think I remember you coming in and out of here. We had to give you a sticker and everything.
You just unlocked the memory of like, man, like
and so we just started talking to people, reaching out to people in here. We set up a Mac and an Amazon microphone, and my students and I that were left here said, yeah, we could try it. Let's just try it for the heck of it, for fun, and see what we get, see who's going to answer it. And we reached out, send the email and everything, and then waited on the other side and went, hello, from the hub, this is the Resource Center podcast. How are you? And it came on, and next thing you know, we were just talking and getting to know everybody and asking them what their RSO was made of and how you got started and things of that nature. So it just started to evolve, just like with your RSO or with where you were at before and where you're at now. And then we were lucky enough to do a presentation to get funding, and and our other staff members really just put this place together. And I get to sit and ask the questions and have fun on this microphone, It's crazy. It is crazy how things can evolve from sort of a desperation to imagination and elevation. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I still feel like a lot of beautiful stuff came out of the pandemic. I like looking back, like spaces like this, like all the opportunities that I found, like in that space, like things that I felt like really helped me develop. And like I just like to look back at the positive a lot. Like it was a rough time for a lot of us, including myself. But I feel like now in this hopefully like post era, like pandemic, there's a lot that we can like appreciate now, and like really like we really grew a lot. And like y'all did a good job in here. Like come on, y'all gotta do like y'all gotta do like a studio tour or something like one of these days. Like
just shout us out, through your RSO, through your doings, and bring us more students who have something to say, and want to share their point of view, their experiences as a registered student organization, and who they're trying to contact, who they're trying to motivate, and just trying to communicate more with this medium, and just trying to do it in the sense of, I try not to say, congratulations, Kaylin, you're, ASUW Black Student Commission president. That's fantastic. Not really, I want to know what are your struggles with as an African American student on campus, and walking around, and do you have to tell people, no, I don't play football. I am an academic person. Or is that something that I make up in my own head? Or do you get that?
Yeah, I feel that like for real, like, and for me, like even like from still working in HFS, still being like an assistant resident director, like I still have residents coming up to my RAs, like my staff, and asking like, yo, is Kaylin on the football team? Can you introduce me? Like, can you introduce me? I want to meet it. Like legit, like somebody asked, like, and it's like I get it, like like but it just kind of gets like because I'm just trying to.
But like, on the flip side, man, do you ever like take out your pen and just start signing backpacks and just?
Man,
I'm kidding. I'm clouding you, but that would be hilarious.
Like
who's that? And then write like a number, like number 333.
Man,
Like, who's that?
Man, like it was actually funny because I went to the Seahawks like open practice like last summer
Okay.
with some friends, and I was wearing like a Marshawn Lynch jersey, and like so one of my friends, like, she sent a picture to her grandma like of us together, and I was holding a football in the picture, and she goes, "Did you get his autograph?" Like in the following email, and like, "What's his name?" And like it's actually, man, like,
Yeah, right.
like
It's both sad and good.
yeah,
It's sad because people can't differentiate, and it's good because you could say, yeah, I'm fit, I fit the role or whatever,
yeah, man, like
that'd be something that we need to explain to people. This is why I love this podcast or a podcast, because it gives you a chance to answer those questions other than the basic questions of ASUW is fantastic. We know it's fantastic. I want to know what your problems are on campus and how you solve them.
Yeah,
because obviously you have.
Yeah, and honestly, like, and I had a conversation about this with some other black students like before, and you kind of subliminally like learn to do things to put people at ease, which is so bad that we have to do that. But one thing that another black student that I talked to, like another black dude that I was talking to, said to me was that he speaks at a higher pitch than his natural pitch to like make people feel like he's less intimidating. And like sometimes like you have to be aware of like your stature or like how your voice may come out of people or certain tones, and that's so unfortunate because I am a student. I feel like I'm a genuinely like nice and approachable person, but like the rest of the world ain't gonna see that. And like people are gonna think like, oh, you just here because you're on one of the teams. Like, oh, you like you like intimidating, you're scary.
Not as scary though, because with that mask on, what you got right now, I was like, woo.
Man, like I'm telling you, like,
that's interesting. Yeah, I've heard that before. I've not heard that on the podcast before like that ever, and this is the first, and that is very insightful to say the least. That a population has to be conscious to say those certain things, to say it in a certain way, to be interpreted as friendly and non-threatening, and that just means we have so much more to do, to work.
And that's why with my role, like I really want to highlight like all that the black community stands for and all that we do on campus. Because for a lot of people, like, they only grow up being around one identity or, like, one ideology.
Right.
And, like, I've literally had a resident tell me before I was the first black person they've ever talked to. And, like, for me, like, to be talking to an 18-year-old, like, who has never, like, spoken to anybody who wasn't in their own, like, racial identity, that's just still insane to me. And, like, it just shows there's so much work, like you said, that we still need to do to better engage, like, and just let people know, like, because I was just talking to the president of Black at Foster, and they're doing a resume writing workshop like next week, just to get ready for hiring season. And like they got so many hungry and driven people like who are just coming off of summer internships in New York and Dallas, working for Amazon, working for Microsoft, doing all these big amazing things. And people don't really know like all the facets and all the beauty of the community in this campus and outside in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine we're just missing out on such diverse population that can bring so many more ideas and so much more enthusiasm and a way of culturally enriching the workspace, the work life. It's interesting. So how do you propose to do that, to work on that with your positions now?
Yeah, like for me, like I feel
what are
like
your thoughts on that?
I feel like in just like having had my time, like my ability to like be engaged on campus, like a lot of people know who I know. A lot of people in administration know who I am. I've worked in a lot of different environments, a lot of different teams. I feel like now it's up to me to kind of pay it forward, and just try to like engage with the people who still have time on this campus, like really like set themselves up for greater success. But that's why I want to like start like bringing these people, giving these people resources, giving these people spaces, trying to like get engaged with new modes of communication, new modes of outreach that we haven't really considered before. Because someone once told me like just coming out of the pandemic, because some people like to say we lost a lot of traditions and a lot of cultures, like some events that haven't happened since the pandemic. But they used to always tell me like now it's time for creating new traditions and new ways of pushing forward. Like we used to leave all the old stuff in the past. 'Cause, like some of the stuff like we probably couldn't pull off anymore, but it's fine because like we got new people and new ideas who just need the resources and tools to push forward. And like and so the best way for us to address like students who may not have experienced other cultures is to empower these students with a voice to speak for themselves and introduce themselves to the rest of the world and the rest of the community. Because it's actually interesting. Did you see that article the other day about automation bias?
Automation bias.
Yeah, like it's an interesting phenomenon in engineering. Like,
yeah. A little bit about that. Yeah.
Like, because apparently, like actually, it is a fact that engineering is one of the like least diverse fields, like still to this day.
Yeah.
And like
interesting. Of course, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those of y'all who have darker skin tones, who've ever like gone into a bathroom. Like if you wave your hand like under the sink, like it's not going like always pick up if you have a darker skin tone.
Yeah.
And that's because like people who are creating those things have lighter skin tones.
Yeah.
And they only test it on their friends and themselves, and they don't calibrate the computer to like be able to pick up darker skin tones.
No wonder.
Yeah, and because it literally perceives a shadow, it doesn't perceive a hand. So that's one of the reasons like I think it's so important for us to like give spaces to black engineers.
Yeah. Because that's where it goes.
Yeah, like
being when they say systemic, it's deep into a living system.
Yeah, because
every walk of life is moved in a way to make it more difficult for people.
Yeah, because you can only really ever represent your own identity, and even then, there's so many different facets and aspects of the spectrum of just identity and experience. That you really shouldn't try to like speak for anybody or like try to do anything without giving consideration to other identities. Like going off automation bias, like just in general with things like architecture. Like a lot of architects don't consider like accessibility when they still don't consider accessibility when they design like a new building or a new space. Which is still insane. Like that people are like designing all these brand new skyscrapers don't even think to like install a ramp.
Right, because like it's not. I would think it doesn't make it look cool. They always say, "quote unquote," you have to make the design look sexy, and so it doesn't look quite as attractive to the eye when people walk in to a building for this ramp to come down, this ADA ramp to be there, what have you. And so subliminally, I would think they just let it go, or put it to the side, to the back, or make it very inconvenient. Which is an interesting point.
Yeah, and that's why, like I said, it's just so important for us to like always keep in consideration. Yeah, like, and
do you think the student body now, more and more, are listening to that, or more aware of that inclusion in design and lifestyle in your generation? You'd be considered Generation Z, am I correct?
Yeah, I feel like honestly in this case, I always say there's a difference between listening and hearing. Like we can tell people all we want, like we can expose them to so many different entities, but we can't really like make them like understand. To really like listen is to like meet someone where they're at and understand like the importance of what they're saying to you. And I feel like it's a skill that a lot of people still like, and it's totally understandable because like a lot of people like 18, 19, like don't really like have like the most holistic view of the world yet and might not develop it for many years, and that's totally fine. But it's good that we're having these conversations now, and it is hitting on more and more people, and more people are looking to get engaged and get active on certain issues. There's still a lot more work to be done, and it's a continuing work that needs to be brought into like later like parts of life and just engulfed in different like facets of culture. Like, because there still is a lot of institutional issues, like in a lot of fields, that just come down to culture that's been built over hundreds of years that we need to address. And like, even if we're trying to do more, there still is a lot more work to be done. But I feel like we are starting to become more aware and moving in the right direction.
Certainly. If you had to leave the University of Washington with one aspect of taking down part of a couple 100-year-old system, or correcting one, what would that be in your opinion, in your history here?
Man, I would say first and foremost, like, and I've written about this a little bit in a couple of reports that I've written up before, but
Mm-hmm.
we need to create a more welcoming environment first and foremost for students of color, especially like Black students, because even in Seattle, like as a city, like we've seen like the Black population be pushed out and like progressively like go even smaller than it already is, as they start to get pushed out in the surrounding Puget Sound.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we're actually like statistically significantly lower than the national average of black student enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that is telling us that there needs to be work to be done to like create a more welcoming environment,
Mm-hmm.
and that means creating more space for Black students. Like the ECC, is great. I'm in the ECC basically every week. It's
Mm-hmm.
like my family there,
Mm-hmm.
but we need more for this community that's still trying to grow and find their place.
Mm-hmm.
Like and we need to increase like hiring of Black faculty and also increase the retention rate, because even when we do bring in Black faculty, they oftentimes don't stay because the environment is
Right.
not one
right.
they find welcoming or something conducive
Right.
to research, because we are a research school first and foremost. And if you don't feel comfortable like you can get anywhere with like your field or your work, like you may not want to stick around.
Difficult, right?
Yeah, like
Difficult to try to make a change when certain levels of change are made, but then only to find that next level hasn't changed,
yeah.
or making someone comfortable in a work environment hasn't changed, but we got past the hiring aspect.
Yeah, like and like having that mentality, just like, okay, we hired these people, like we're good, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not gonna be able to get anywhere, and like I feel like there's been a lot more openness, especially this year, to like see how we can move forward. But we just have a lot of work to do together to get to a place where we can make lasting change, and that starts in bringing in people who can be the next generation of change makers in the world, and just creating space where they can feel
Change makers.
Yeah, like things
Okay.
Like
I'm trying to think of something much more lighter, just to alleviate the seriousness of which you come on the mic. The day that I met you, man, you were like, I think you just came in the hub, and it was like in the COVID aspect, and you were like just as serious and deadpan as you are now. I'm like, I wanted to ask you, in your legacy, what was the funnest moment that you've had so far? The most memorable time that you've had, whatever it was. Did somebody prank somebody in the dorms that you had to discipline or write them up, was somebody, you know?
Oh, I got a million funny stories. Like
I need some of that right now. Yeah,
man,
just for
like,
my own aspect.
Man, yeah, like there's. Man, I'm trying to think. What can I say? Like
you can say
yeah,
it.
like, but yeah,
Well, I don't
like,
know if you can say it, but yeah, you
yeah,
can.
like, yeah, but just know that when you tell a bunch of 18-year-olds that they need to stay inside all day,
Right,
when they see all these movies and stuff about like what college is supposed to be like, things happen.
Wow,
Like,
yeah.
Like 18-years get bored.
Like in the movies,
Like,
huh?
yeah,
Like
like-
in
yeah.
Animal House or something. The movies,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna leave it open to people at home. Like think about what you're trying to do. Like,
Yeah.
But like when they get bored, like anything can go. Like and sometimes you just gotta go home and laugh about it later. But
Yeah.
like when you're on the job, like, and that's the funny thing about like living where you work. It's like sometimes things that happen, like you go, dang, somebody should handle that. And then you go, oh wait, I'm somebody, I gotta do
That's
that.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
And so that job, the title of that job is the, what was that?
Yeah. So right now I'm the assistant resident director.
Assistant resident director. Okay.
Yeah.
And then how many students were you in charge of?
Yes.
Or
Right.
are you in charge of
Yes.
currently?
Yes. Right now I got a team of 11 RAs. And then and I'm also building my hall council team, which is coming together. Like, and that's gonna be a lot of fun because like we put in a lot of events. Like, it's a space for them to have fun. Like,
Okay.
and it's really something that I've grown to appreciate. Like, because I had people coming up to me last year, like from my hall council team, they were just saying like this was something for them to look forward to every week. And that's the space I want to create,
Mhm.
like going forward in this year, like somewhere
Mhm.
like that's gonna be like an hour that they can look forward to every week to smile and like do something for their community
Yeah. Yeah.
and like plan some fun events and like just have a good time, like
Yeah.
and make some friends.
Yeah.
Especially for 18-year-olds who like need that space like more than ever being
Yeah.
away from their parents
Yeah.
the first time.
So what's that like? You're almost like the the big brother.
Yeah, like very much like
Very much like,
so like
a big cousin or whatever to a lot of these freshmen, and then they just get they wave mom and dad goodbye, and they about to get buck wild in there. I would imagine then you would have to like, whoa, we got to stop this. Or
I mean, I try to remember like because I was 18 like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Just like try to be real, like cause like they want to have fun and they want to have a good time.
Yeah.
But you just
It's
want to
like
make
me
sure
in the
that-
resource center though, with my staff. They get sometimes, anyway, but not like
Yeah, just trying to make sure that you can be like that big brother figure because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them at least from my community last year were first gens.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was really setting in on them and like how to survive on their own or just like how to even like wash dishes on their own, like some of them, which is so crazy like nowadays. But you also gotta remember you also gotta remember that last year and partially this year, these past two like first year classes have spent like the majority of their like developmental years like inside, sitting at home, like on Zoom.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And just sort of re-emphasizing their lifestyles.
Yeah, like,
And it didn't get a chance to grow. And then when they come to you and your staff, when did that dawn on you that you were the ones to move that or going to have to be the ones to move these students forward just in their personal lives? Whatever it is, like you say, responsibilities, decorum, getting out of the rooms, acting correctly in a public space. I would imagine that gets complicated because you've got natural, just going wild and having fun versus being pent up, or during, I want to say post COVID, but during COVID times. Interesting.
Yeah, because I always try to tell anybody like who's trying to work at this university, like it always helps more to like actually be out on campus versus like looking at it through like the glass window or like on the outside looking in. Like, like because just being able to like walk around the halls like of any building, like even through the resource center, you probably hear a million different stories and a million people every day.
Mm-hmm.
And just in seeing like how people were thinking about things, like what was like making them nervous or like what they might have been doing, that I would be like, yeah, like just like it made me really realize like how much things have changed, because like a lot of them have gone well over a year of only having face-to-face interactions with family, like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like not having been outside, like gone to the store, like, and who knows how long.
Right.
And like, yeah, so it's just like the little things that, you wish you would have been told like his first year. Like, I know you want to go out and have fun, but don't go out with the people you just met like 2 nights ago. Like, I know you want to go to Dink Tea like on 47th, but don't go past dark. Like things that like, I know you're trying to have fun, I know you're trying to have a good time, but you got to remember, like, it's not all cotton candy and rainbows anymore. Like, you like,
Yeah.
and just trying to also meet them where they're at and like what they're trying to like have a college experience. Because like, a lot of people see those movies or like read about stories online and think like this is how I have to like live my college experience. But they're just so like uncomfortable with that idea or those spaces, and they just feel like pressured to have to do that because that's the only way they feel like they're gonna be able to make friends. Or like people will tell them like that's the only way you're gonna remember your college experience.
Right.
And,
Right.
like,
Yeah. I've heard that
like,
a lot.
And like, it's also setting that in with them, like just and this is gonna sound super basic, but just be you, and just do what's gonna make you happy and what you enjoy. Because college is a time for you to have that freedom, but you can express it in whatever way you feel comfortable with, like what brings you joy. Like not because you think it's gonna make these people who live down the hall from you, random strangers like you met last night, like think you're cool, but because like something that actually is valued to you. Like, so if you want to play like Settlers of Catan like until 3 in the morning on a Friday night, that's totally fine. Like, and that's totally cool. Like, yeah, I might hop in with you one of these days. I never played the game. But yeah, just like just make sure it's like something that you're like actually gonna enjoy and remember, like, and make real connections that can be like life lasting.
Right. And that is a lesson, even just a lesson, but just a nice stroke of conversation that you can offer students. And I'm sure coming from you, they're going to listen to that more and possibly change their life or set the tone for their college life. And that's pretty powerful. And so that kind of segues me to your ASUW career. How did that get started?
And like me just being like the only person who came from my community to come to UW,
Yeah.
like I was just looking for any way to get engaged like on campus, and especially with the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily for me, like when I was at the RSO fair, my first year, somebody from BSU actually walked up to me and like just handed me a little like pamphlet saying like come to the first BSU meeting. And that really like changed like my whole experience, like and probably like set off like the chain of events that led to me being here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like when we did our Black Homecoming event like 2 Fridays ago, I wanted to start doing those handouts again.
Okay, right out here.
Yeah, like we start. Yeah, like that's what we were printing.
Yeah.
Like that you helped us with. Like because I'm like that could turn into like the next like.
That was really nice.
Yeah, like because giving them the opportunity is important. And like just I came into the first BSU meeting, and the Black Student Commission director at the time, Trevon, he came in, gave a little speech, and like said he has an internship application. So I applied. I got the internship role. I was working with the Black Student Commission as an intern for a couple of months. And then COVID hits. And then Trevon lets us know that we're all let go because ASU is not going to be doing anything for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And then that was it. And the funny thing is I also crossed my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, around the week that COVID started. So basically these two facets that I had, these two connections in the community, were just like like in a matter of a week.
Yeah.
And like so.
How did that? Okay, obviously there was no function going on with ASUW. Everything was just in limbo. Yeah. Same thing with Alpha Phi Alpha. Is that correct?
Yeah, like we were still meeting and talking over the summer and like trying to like because we still had that mentality of like okay, so this is so crazy. Think about like 2 years ago we were saying that we're gonna be back in a week.
Yeah,
because we were like, okay, we're gonna be back. Yeah, we're gonna be back in a week. Yeah. Like it's gonna be fine. Let's talk about this.
What little we knew then, man, we had no clue. Yeah,
like
every day was it's like in your backyard, pacing around for a little bit.
Because I was so set like on I'm gonna come back. Like I'm gonna be back in like a little bit of time. Yeah. So we still taught the entire summer and still kept engaged. And actually, like my sponsor, DeAndre. At the time, so DeAndre like was the vice president of NPHC, the National Panhellenic Council, which is the governing body of historically Black Greek letter organizations, and he wanted me to run for president at NPHC like as a sophomore, and this was literally like 2 or 3 months after I had crossed, and I was like, I don't think I can do that because I don't think anybody knows me. I don't know if I'm ready, but he really believed in me and like wanted me to like go for that role, and I ended up like still being nervous. I applied for vice president. Yeah. Which still kind of disappointed him, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna feel this out, and like I'm gonna see like how I can go. Because at the time, I had the mentality that I feel like I'm the best I can do is probably be like under somebody else. Because I don't know if I know how to like lead people. Yeah. Like I'm more of like give me directions, and like I can handle it. Right. But then some things happened, and they ended up being nobody applying for president because one of the people who was trying to apply was ineligible.
That's the core. Yeah. That's the core that I wanted to get at. For so many people, including myself, is like when those roles are bestowed on you, those opportunities, what is it that makes us go, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but someone thinks I am. I have a responsibility to myself and my consciousness to go for it, to do it. As we wrap up, we're going to talk more, but my goodness, that is a topic for an ongoing conversation because, Kaylin, you have done that in so many ways, and you repeatedly accomplished that, and have your self voice to keep moving forward, and that's an inspiration for all of us.
Yeah, and it's just because, like, just going back to high school, like, I had a teacher who would always just say, like, there's gonna be periods where nobody's gonna want to speak up. And it's, like everyone hates silence, so sometimes you got to be the one to break that silence and just take that leap of faith, bet on yourself, like because even if like
that's the phrase of the day is bet on yourself.
Yeah, because even if like you might not have all the answers right away, you may inspire somebody else to come up who does. Like sometimes all it takes is that first person to take a jump in. and I know I kind of redirected to MPHC, but that's how I got back with ASU Dub. Because for the 2 years that I was MPHC president, I was working with the BSC director on programs and initiatives, and that's how I was able to stay engaged.
For us who don't know, MPHC,
it's a National Panhellenic Council, the governing organization of historically Black Greek letter organizations.
Very good. Very good.
And so I was able to stay engaged with ASU Dub, like at least from afar, like over those 2 years. And then Navon asked me to apply for the director position this year, and because I had already had a lot of experience working with the team, I was an intern my first year, and that's how I ended up here. Just from DeAndre believing in me before I even believed in myself.
Yeah.
And that really meant a lot.
Oftentimes, somebody sees an objective point of view, or they see you and the potential, what you have here. And that is what we're all about, is just really seeing that potential and helping that potential just rise and through experience and programming and what have you. So, yeah. It's fabulous to see it grow and keep growing and keep inspiring. As we wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much, Kaylin Garrett, with so many organizations, and for a continued conversation. So for now, we'll just wrap up.
All right. Like and subscribe. I guess y'all need y'all got a jingle or something? Y'all got to get
we put it in. We put it in afterwards and stuff. I like that. But yeah. So for the Resource Center podcast at the Hub, we are going to say goodbye for now. And we will see you soon. Thanks again for coming. Appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.